So they can increase when I'm reaction time. Thank you. Yeah, so the first thing, directors, he got a vision. Like this is his first visual. That is his idea about this behind this film. So that's how it started. So the visual is like on the road, nighttime, bunch of cell phones with the glowing cell phones. They are going on the road. That is his first visual. His thought. So then from there, then he is thinking like why they are going. So then it's like they are chasing the one car. So then again, why they are chasing the car? It's like that's how it's going to kill that person. So why it has to kill? So that's how that's actually that one simple thought, the visual basically, that is what the entire 2.0 film has developed from there. Actually, initially, director mentioned me that it's not, he don't want to do the robot part 2. So he wants to do the separate cell phones, the radiation and the birds, and that is what his entire idea. But later, because the power which so huge that negative energy, that needs to put back, so he needs the another power where that is when he brought the robot part inside. Actually, this is not a part 2 initially. That's what he mentioned me. So the idea actually, now you understand. It's simple one visual. It's slowly started and then added, and then that's how that entire script has developed. So then this is the overall script, and then it's a one-line order. So then from that, so this is as a visual effects supervisor role. So this is first thing what we got to say. He narrated me the entire story. It's almost it took like 3.5 hours. So then after that, it took a lot of time for me to digest the entire essence of what he wants, the overall feel. And good thing is that I worked with him like a previous almost like 15 years. I worked with Director Shankar. So I know that what he is looking for, what he wants. So then this is the first story, the script. So from the script, what we do is like, my role is that, so I'll mark out, okay, which are the shots, which are the sequences. Basically we divide that, okay, these are the visual effects involved shots. So then slowly, first job is for me to bring this script into the some kind of a visual format. It can be sometimes reference, just sometimes we get a basic reference of what he's looking. That is enough for us. Sometimes we have to do the drawings, like a concepts, and sometimes we just do the storyboard to get that idea. Basically, we need to communicate to all other departments. That is that's the main first part. So we need to bring director's vision into the paper. That is the first part. So then sometimes we do even next level of pre-visualization. So I will go to the next stages. So this is the first, I marked out all these shots. Okay, these are the visual effects involved shots. And good thing with Shankar sir is he even divides the shot. So like this is the shot breakdown. Sometimes that will help us a lot to get the visuals out. So this is the storyboard of the first sequence where from the script we design storyboard artist, we draw like based on his script, and we didn't follow a lot of angles, but we just whatever we felt it's like as a concept artist, storyboard artist. So this done by one artist called Gopi. So he's a very good visual storyboard artist. So from this, so director selected, okay, this is the angles we like. So I'll select this. So that is how from the basic idea and from the script to the then visual. This sequence actually we didn't do any further in things. It's like this is a good enough for us to visualize the entire thing. So we directly went into the shoot based on this. This is another sequence which what is first vision. So it's like a car is coming in and chasing. Car is chasing by cell phones, and then he goes into the house and he sleeps, and then all the entire rooms become full of cell phones. It's trying to kill. So that is a sequence. So again, we did based on the script, we did the storyboards, and then we realized that the storyboard is not enough for this sequence. We need to do it in much more into the next level, which is the more basically the reason why it's not enough is like we need to finalize the angles 100%. So I'll show you the next slide. So this is a pre-visualization. So what is this pre-visualization is? It's like a very simple, very basic, very rough animation. But what we look from this is mainly camera angles. So the layout, what we basically layout, mainly we look for the camera angles and how the action is going to be. In this, we won't be using any of this in the final production, but it will give us an understanding of how the overall film is, this sequence is going to be. So this we did even the editing, dubbing and everything to get the feel. So this is our main agenda, is to get all the things right.
Appa Muruga, Jnana Pandita. என்னது சத்தம் சார்? லோடு வந்துச்சு சார். டேய், எங்கேந்திரா பேசுற? யாரா? டேய், யாரா அது? ஆறுமுகம் சார். லோடு வந்தா ஃபோன் பண்ண சொன்னீங்களே, வந்துச்சு சார். எங்கடா? உங்க வீட்டுக்கு தான் சார்.
Hello, Moto. Hello, Moto. Hello, Moto.
Yeah, as I mentioned, this is not the detailed animation. We didn't do for the animation. Mainly what we are trying to do is convert his idea into the shots. It took for us, I think, the main talkie portion, and before this effects part, it took for us just 4 to 5 days. That's it. The one thing which we need to make sure in this, when we are doing the pre-visualization, if possible, try to get the actual location measurements correct. So what we followed here, all the the room, the details, exactly what we want in the final. So then all the camera angles or camera film back, everything matches to that. So if you see the 12mm lens, it's like in the film also we use the exact 12mm lens and you'll get the same frame. So that is the one thing which in the pre-visualization part. So this was, this part, it gives us a lot of advantage. We won't waste any of filmmaking, like time-wise and budget-wise. And then other thing is, to get this, we did a lot of options. Like if you do one camera angle from here to here, if it's coming, then director asked like we needed 20 options on that. That we in doing in this stage is just a matter of 20 minutes. Like okay, move the camera in 3 dimensions because everything is correct. So, but later if you start working the actual location, it's very impossible to work on that. So, but regular live shooting without visual effects, you can do that. But when we have a lot of visual effects oriented things, we need to get as clarity as possible, like this before going to that. Now you have seen the pre-visualization. Now you see the next actual final output, how we matched. Thank you. This is actual shooting. So here for me the main challenge is the lighting. It needs to come from all the directions. So I've used green color cables to interact. Yeah, this is the overall sequence, the whatever from the script, then short division, then we did the storyboard, and from storyboard, for the first sequence we didn't do any pre-visualization, but this sequence required a lot of pre-visualization, so we did the pre-visualization. From there we exactly, on location, we matched all the angles and everybody knows, all the department knows what they need to do. And then we worked on the only that particular portions where we required live interaction part. Remaining, I did everything in CG. So, and then you have seen the final output. So that is actually one full process as a visual effects side. So like that, I will show you some of the remaining sequences. Again, this is storyboard from the sequence where this guy is again trying to get him killed, so then road is actually in this particular sequence what director asked is like, so he wants to see that get the feel the road, entire road is lifting up and coming towards him, into the audience has to feel that hugeness. So that is one of his requirement, and that is how we, and the end when it's going into the like almost like sea wave, that kind of a feel he asked. So we tried a lot of options and finally he selected all this. And this is the final output of that. So again, this is actual live location shooting. So for me, the main challenge is how to get the lighting right, because from the cell phone, everything is illuminating on it. So we designed Nirav and DOP. So we designed a lot of rigs, light rigs, to get that feel. And another sequence, even these two sequences also, we have to go with the previous realization part, because these are very complicated, important sequences. Yeah, this also we shot in the jungle. So here we used only the close-up areas. Background we couldn't light up, so obviously we generated the entire thing. Ahead what you see is all scene generated piece. So again, lighting is one of the crucial part. Yeah, so in this film, the next major, of course, this is one of the hero of the film. So challenge is that bird. So bird is made up of cell phones. That is what the main important character of the film. So we tried with a lot of variations. These are the first, as I mentioned, that we need to bring director's vision into the paper or some kind of format. So this is the concept arts which we tried initially. So in the film, it's all talked about the sparrow mostly. So then initially we thought we'll go with the top one, top left. It's a sparrow. We made it bigger, because we want that huge cell phone bird. So we tried doing that, but it's sparrow is not looking that ferocious and angry feel which director wants. Then after that, we tried using the combination of different birds, like all the birds combination, but still it looks like already we have seen a lot of films, like some kind of existing. It's not looking like it's a 2.0 bird. So then we thought it's like, okay, we will go with the realistic eagle. So this is actually king of birds, the eagle. So we thought, okay, eagle is the one we selected. So we did the concepts and based on our visuals, how it is going to be. So we are okay with this. Okay, then these are based on the visuals, this is the basic concept using the cell phones we have applied, and this is the proportion. You see the Boeing jet behind, so this is kind of a wingspan he wants. So then we are okay with this, so this is the concept. Then we started building into the 3D and doing the first test. So this is our initial test using the real Eagle one. This is all made up of full thousands and thousands of cell phones and digitally we manipulated. But the problem is it's not looking really good. This actually took us, to get this output, it took us 1 year to get this from the Eagle to this level. Because a lot of technical difficulties are there. If you are just a basic human without any mobile phones or any particles on it, it's very simple. But here we need to drive a lot of particles sticking onto that, a lot of cell phones sticking onto that. That is one of the challenge as technically. So we achieved this this level. So in this, what we missed is So we couldn't get the separation of the bird feathers. So even bird when it's looking frontal, if you see any bird just looking straight, it's not looking like a very aggressive. So always bird looks a little side, and so then we realized that it's not working and director is not happy with this. So then we started working another model. So this is the model which what we tried is we did in, if you go technical a little bit, it's like we did in ZBrush, there is a software in the 3D. So actual sculpting with the phones. So this is our version. So in this what we tried is, we did a lot of cheating the size. Because previous bird, we want to keep the actual phones everywhere in the same size. But in this design, what we did is like if you see all the nose and remaining facial areas, so some phones are very small. But we took a liberty to get that feel. But finally, director is okay with this. So this we did with the overall turntable, and this is one of the pose. And for us, in this film, actually, bird is not really flying far, and it's not flying bird. It's more like a attacking and aggressive bird. So what we did is that wing, we taken a freedom of using that curve, that hand, more like a pen kind of thing. So that is how we designed. And edge of all the feathers, we made it very sharp like a knife, and we given each feather little bit separation. So that gives that volume for the wing. So that actually really worked out. And we brought all the characters of Akshay sir. Akshay sir actually, we finalized when we are doing this in this 1 year, we finalized the Akshay sir look. So we took that horns and chest area, that we adapted into this. So it actually blended as now it became like a 2.0 bird rather than existing any other existing one. So then based on that black and white, that gray thing, so we started experimenting on the textures, like a color, which color works well. So director wants more like a dark color, but even if you go dark, then you won't see the expressions. So what we added is, we have added one extra flowing energy to express the emotion. If you see in the next, if you see that there are a lot of energy passing, lighting streaks are there. That actually changes the speed based on the emotion. If it's angry, it's like a very fast. So that is and it gives the feel of a cell phone screens, and it's not like a made up of just regular bird. And then we, based on that concept, we did the first test. So this is our initial first test of the bird, which director is really happy on this. So then we locked, and then we started working on the actual production. So if you see from the beginning, from the sparrow, we tried a lot of variations, and then after that we went into the different kind of birds, and then after that we finalized with the eagle. Then somehow eagle frontal, it's not looking right, and even feathers we couldn't work out. Then finally we went to the different design, and now we locked this. So in this, the biggest challenge for me is that the scale. So if you see the very few places, actually the scale will be visible, very few places. So this is in this shot, this is the initial sequence. So in this this shot and the next shot, we know that there is a huge scale opportunity, show the scale. This is the opportunity to show the scale of the bird, because most of the time it will be in the air without any difference. So this is the only place we have that humans and the car and real elements next to the bird. So only then we can feel the scale of the thing. So we spend a lot of time to establish the scale in this initial two shots. So director is very keen on that. He wants this scale establishment in this. So this is the actual live location. So if you see the top drone, that is the bird look. Yeah, we put this city junctions, 3 different junctions in the Chennai UAP studio. So then we did entire thing, all the major action in that. So I think nowadays that set extension, like we call set extension of the set, it's become very common. So we are not talking about that I consider like after a few years it's not part of the visual effects. It goes into the actually art department, production designing part. So because if you see Bahubali when I did that, it's like set extensions is one of the nice, I can talk about set extensions at that time. But nowadays it's like set extensions become very common. So in this, we don't need to much talk about set extension because we have a main character. That is what the next stage for me after the Bahubali. This is one of the challenges. Like Bahubali is more like a showing the grandeur of the background and sets. Of course, story director has taken care of entire emotions. But here, for me, the storytelling itself, the main characters are digital characters. So that is one of the challenge. So set extension work is very basic for us, but still I have few things to show the set extension breakdowns. Yeah, so as I mentioned, this is a very important shot for us to show the scale. This is the final output. And this is the actual location. Location shoot. So what we did is like, because very crucial and important, we had a very big effects, live special effects, like a blast and everything on location live. That actually very expensive shot because we brought a lot of equipment from abroad and to get this shot and the next shot very aggressively. It took almost I think 3 to 1 month they took it, do the testing, like a before final shoot. So they did a lot of, almost 1 month, they took a lot of trials and finally we got that output. So this is a basic animation. So when we do the animation, the animators do this part. So they will animate wings and the front face feathers and the tail and the legs. But remaining all the body, whatever you saw, they comes from the technical animation. It comes automatically. So if you see this one, when we do the animation, of course the bird goes into the building with the wing flopping. Of course that is just for the testing, but actual bird when it's entering into the building, it will go into the, as a slide. If you see that correction we have of course there. And we have done a lot of CG, cars, explosions, and everything on the, if you see this is the final output, you can understand that. So for us that set extension is like, it becomes secondary because the main character itself we are trying to emote. So that way director Shankar sir has a very keen on the expressions, what he wants to emotion wise. So we took a lot of time to get this scale, the emotions, a lot of iterations in fact. Yeah, this shot is actually very compromised shot for us. The problem is here, if you see the bird scale-wise, it's very small. It's supposed to be, in the before shot if you see, all the wings are inside the buildings and it's destroying all the buildings. But here, because of our last minute issues of budget and all that, so we couldn't touch the buildings breaking part. So this is like a director said, it's like we'll take a call. So we'll use it after a little bit far away. But in the flow, it's okay, but unknowingly you feel that scale suddenly comes down. So this is not exactly what we want, but that's how in film some things we cannot control. Yeah, this is another sequence where he is trying to yeah, this is the final output, and now you can see the actual location. In this, we have done a lot of digital shots, full digital, because we couldn't shoot exactly what we want, because that can be done in only digital. So we have created, whatever you see, the visualization part on the top, it's a full digital shot. In fact, we created entire buildings, everything photorealistic. This is full digital, what we saw. This is full digital from the transformation from raw to bird. And even this shot is fully digital. Even this shot. So as you see, we have a clear clarity on the shots, like a pre-visualization, what we need. So only then we can able to achieve this kind of details in the very less budget. That is one of the biggest challenge for us, especially for me, because in India, the budget what we have when compared to the Hollywood, because why they are comparing with the Hollywood, because audience people, they want that kind of a quality in our Indian films. But obviously the budget, what we have is very, very less. Like if you say, same film, if it's happened in Hollywood, it will be like a 1,500, 2,000 crores. But what we have here is like maybe 300 crores. And then the budget what we have is for the VFX is like a 80 crores. So, but the same thing, if you go there, it's the only VFX budget alone will go cross like a 800 crores. So that kind of a limitation we have, but the challenge is we need to deliver in the very same quality, because audience, they pay same price for the Hollywood movie and this. So that is one of the biggest challenge, how to get that kind of a quality in our Indian budget. So these are the things like a pre-production that helps a lot to reduce the budget. So this is one of the major thing, and I use a lot of technologies to emerging technologies to bring into the this, so we can reduce a lot of budget rather than existing technology. Yeah. Then another challenge is again here Cellman. So he's real size, like Akshay sir in the actual size Cellman. In this, from the beginning, what director is always insisting in this film, he wants the emotion should be seen in the digital character, because here it's fully digital. If you see in one of the sequences, he talks totally emotionally, like he talks about the cell phone, how impacting the people. So that kind of emotion we should see in his face. But the problem what we have here is, we tried a lot of options, but in none of this option, we are not seeing Akshay's face in detail. So that is one of the biggest challenge. For me to get that Akshay's face into the cell phone Cellman is one of the toughest one. We tried a lot of variations, but finally we had a very simple flat dabba, like just a U-shaped dabba if you see this thing. So that time, in fact, we got the mobiles like iPhone 10 and Samsung without edges. So we adapted that. So this is a very simple design, as if you, without the Akshay surface, this is a very simple design, but it is the one which emotes the entire the characters, it's giving the life. So to do that, Akshay sir details, we shot with the 6 camera setup. In 6 camera setup, so Akshay sir emotes that entire thing in the green screen. That we projected onto the cell phone character. This is a initial test, and this is the actual shooting time. We had one reference, and this is the green one, which we have seen. I have mentioned, that 6 cameras. So in surrounding 6 cameras, Akshay sir emotes. That is the visual we projected onto the character. And this side, what you see is the actual animation based on Akshay sir's performance. Yes, similarly again, this is the final output. So here you can see that what he is talking and how that is one of the biggest challenge. It's a digital character, but it's emoting like a regular person, regular actor. And this is the previous. And this is the on location, the 6 camera setup where he has to act exactly. So his face is, Akshay sir's face is based on that. And this is from the editing. Anthony sir, he taken a lot of perfect, suitable action performance. We kept it as a reference. That is how it's given as a visual effects team. That is what output we get. So of course, finally we replaced Rajni sir hands from this part to get that thing. This is the actual animation, and then the final is the bottom one. Even in the hand design also, we had a lot of variations because we use the self-face arrangement. And again, actually, sir, we have a lot of birds, realistic birds. This is a so obviously we can't shoot this with the birds, so totally created in CGI. So this is the background, which we just took only empty background, and these are the characters which for the turntable was the approval. Then this is the first basic animation. So he's okay with the entire animation, but after reaching, director don't want that fighting should happen. So it should be more struggling. So then we corrected that. This is our final output. Yeah, in the film, you see a lot of any birds. What you saw is most of the birds, all are CG birds. But that I'm not taking that as a part of presentation because we have a lot of other things which is very crucial. So this is another sequence.
Hi, scientist.
Yeah, again, this is we didn't do any pre-visualization part because it has communicated very well in the storyboard. So in fact, that what Gopi has done, the storyboard, the lighting is very good. So we adapted the lighting part also so it gave us very good reference. This is the effects or simulation. This is the final output. Yeah, I'm skipping few things because of the time, but we'll go to the climax part. This is a very huge challenge, and it's almost like a 25 minutes sequence where the entire thing happens at the stadium. So we did, as I mentioned, that we started with the storyboard, and then we went into the pre-visualization part. That's the third floor, which you have seen in the making initial. So this is the final output. Again, as I mentioned, this is the final output, and this is the initial board that which you remember that we tried with the eagle. So we did the animation, but what director felt that the animation is like a bird looking very big. So he wants the aggressive feel. So this is with the new. So, but there the problem is we have changed the total board from the old board to new board, but we couldn't adjust the proportion of the legs. So, if you see that board, the legs looks like more like a human. So that to cover that, we have added a lot of dust. And of course, it actually helps us to relieve that heaviness. This is our final output. And this is the actual stadium we shot in Delhi. And we put one, this set is, we put separate set in Chennai. This is the FX test. and this is a digital crowd. And since we build one separate portion to shoot other sequence in that, so we even tested with the final day, we tested with how the chairs are coming out. That helped us a lot for the final output. And for us, the one more for me main challenging is that bringing that hugeness. This is in the climax. We have two characters. These two characters, again, what director has mentioned clearly, that I want to see their features. I want to feel Rajni sir and Akshay sir in the characters. That is one of the, always he's kept telling me that, because in the first part, we tried, in a Robo first part, we tried bringing that huge character, but we couldn't get the Rajni sir feel on that. So here, we had a very good designs on that. So this is Akshay sir with a full detailed cell phones. And the top one is animation with the 6 camera setup reference. In this time, on the stadium, it has a lot of floodlights. So if you actually physically put the floodlights, you'll get that kind of shading. But for the creative freedom, so we took to tone down that. So this is all this major work is done in DNEC here in Mumbai. So it's one of the extraordinary work from them. That is it. This is the actual location which I used the balloon higher for DOP to frame it. And this is a rough animation test. That is all the effects and digital layers and final output. So here the process is, after the character design locked, the animation is one of the toughest part in this, because a lot of elements are there. And then here the director touches that the end, he wants that 8-pack. So that is he specifically adjusted the timing, and people has to register that separately. So we had a lot of variations on the getting that 8-pack cars. So even the design itself, like, he's very particular that he has to look like Rajni sir, and then very stylish and like made up of with all the surrounding iron pieces. So this is again I shot with the 6 camera setup. So if you see what Rajni sir has done, is like always he does like, I can't even find in between frames. If you go frame by frame, he's that fast. So, but for this heaviness, because the character is huge, so we tried few variations which we followed that one. I didn't display here. So this is we slowed down because of the heaviness, and this is the final output. So for me, one more challenging in this is background. There is no reference for me to show the scale. So always this is coming in the very blurry background. So how you will get the scale without reference? So what I tried is that adding all this dust falling, that is one of the thing, and that give the maximum details on the elements. So that actually gives the hugeness without any difference. For Bahubali, we have a lot of advantage of the showing the references, live elements. But here, for me, if you see one simple frame, you can't see the scale unless if you keep one human here. If you see the human, actually will be like this one. But without that, if you see, it's like you can't feel the scale. So all this dust and the other things like the speed, adjusting the speed, all that gave us this huge speed. Yeah, again, this is one of the complex shot in the film. It has all the elements, like a lot of birds and all the chickies, they're falling down, and then again, main Akshay character with the wing. That is the on-location reference. This is the previous, and this is the animation, and then that is the final effects test. Yeah, this is the, we did the motion capture. So that motion capture setup based on the action director choreography. And this is on location. This is the effects test. So initially we did the effects. So everything comes as a chunks, bunches. But what director wants is that it's not looking like a controlled phones. It's not looking like a controlled by Akshay. So he wants that the things which are coming out are more like a butterfly cell phones. So we have changed that part. So it looks like Akshay is controlling them. So that is a total. So that kind of details, his character, he wants that kind of details. He is very good in that. Yeah, here we have again challenging is that with a huge scale of 60 feet and then again small scale of 12 inches. So this is what we did is that Mitra sir, our director, he given the textures, everything, he made it 12 times bigger, the elements. So even one frame itself, we can feel that their register is small. So that is on location. We had a reference to go in it. Right?
Come on, boss.
Okay. So that is so this is one of the DNX VFX showing. Yeah, this is the. Thank you. Yeah, I'll just show you a few clips, few images. In fact, this project, in between, we thought of, instead of Akshay sir, before Akshay sir, Arnold is the one who's supposed to act. So we did the concepts and everything. He really liked and he wants to work, but somehow some cultural adjustments, so it didn't work out. So these are the initial concepts. And then, in fact, before Akshay sir, Amir wants to do that. So he wants to do both, like a robot and even Akshay sir, Akshay as a character. So this is the robot concepts, and this is his Akshay concepts. But somehow, because of the schedule, I guess it didn't work out. So finally, we had these two, like Akshay sir and Rajni sir. That is what makes the entire film totally different. Now we can see that how much detail we have in the character. So the design, what we have, still you can feel the Rajni sir, but you have a lot of details in it. It's a totally generated CG. It's not Rajni sir. That's what for us. If you see even in a lot of Hollywood movies, any bigger character, very few characters actually has the resemblance of the existing one. Like if you see Transformers, it's something, it doesn't have any differences. So like I think only Hulk has that resemblance, but even the recent Hulk only they are able to get that look exactly like a Hulk one. But for us, in this particular thing, for me the main achievement what we can say is, even in the bigger stage, like this kind of a size, without any of Rajni sir flesh or anything, but we are able to feel the Rajni sir in the digital character. The design, it worked out so good. So that is one of the biggest achievement for us to get this kind of output. Yeah, that's. Thank you. So, and one more thing which I like to mention is about the work. What you see is here is like, it's a lot of, again I mentioned, it's a lot of people effort, especially I have to mention about the director Shankar sir. So he never sleeps. It's like a hard working. That is what the 3.5 years hard working. It's and what we gave, what he asked. It's like I can say it's only we gave brought his vision only 75%, but his image and his vision is like crazy. So that is what I think hopefully in the next when the technology builds up and budget comes in, so we can able to match his visions. Like I guess the new guys are coming up into the next level, so the technology is there, but it's not available within our budget. That is the only thing which I can say. So yeah, thank you.
You started in 90s.
Yeah.
When the optical and the lots of
So you started in the 90s, I think.
97.
Yeah, 97, 96. And then can you imagine 2.0 in that time?
Yeah.
So that transition I want to just...
Yeah, so actually, as I mentioned, even now with this kind of things, it's very tough to make it. I guess you remember that it is not 2.0, I'm talking about the engine, that first part, Robo 1. In fact, director started that time. He initiated, Kamal sir has played the test shoot and everything, but because of the technology, because of the limitations, it didn't carry forward. So they had to wait till 10 years, like 2007, to get that kind of things. Even Avatar, if you see, he's like a James Cameron did the project. It's like a 20 years back. So from there, the technology obviously is a crucial part to get the believability. We can do it, but it's a very different way, optical way. But that present days, like digital is so good, so they are able to see a lot of good quality outputs from different. We have a big competition. We have a in the same theater, we see the Avengers next and this one. So we need to compete with them. So we can't just do it in an optical way and satisfy ourselves. But the one thing which I have to mention about this thing, when the digital came in, like when we, this visual effects into digital field, when we came in, a lot of professionals, like artists, a lot of artists didn't come into this. Only the operators, like a technical people came into the visual effects industry. That is what we lost a lot of the transition time, we lost that creative part of the visual effects. But in Hollywood, it's not that. Whoever worked in the optical, they came into they took the digital as another medium to enhance that. But the main core behind people are all who worked from the optical era time. But here the transition is like a totally, somehow it didn't work out. So when we entered, we all, like a lot of other people, we don't have a knowledge of what is a filmmaking. So we all learned from the scratch. So in that time, we did a lot of mistakes, obviously, because we are just learning time. So that time, visual effects people did not believe. Because obviously when you are learning something, the output won't match with the actual imagination. That is where that entire visual effects, in abroad, Hollywood, it's going up. But in India, like if you say from 92, 93, it's slowly coming down. So very, people, directors, they are not believing us because the output of what they are imagining is not coming out. So that system totally different. Here, directors won't log the story. They will be like on the fly, they come and just ask, okay, I want like this. So that stage too, like Shankar sir, he is very good that he tells the story from the beginning and he finished the script. After that, there is no change in it. So that only that kind of directors, like Rajmani sir, they are able to bring this, use this visual effects well into that. Any person who doesn't have a patience to pre-production, or they love to do it but they don't have budget. They don't have a time because they want to finish the film, or because they want to finish in a very less budget. So those people, please avoid using visual effects, because especially huge visual effects part. So that means visual effects require a lot of planning. Visual effects requires a lot of small details, understanding on that. So only then we can able to achieve, because we have limit is a budget. If you have a luxury of budget, we can plan like how we have in the regular shoot. We can go there and we can think of doing that. But that, I think that era is gone now. So everybody requires a lot of planning, and script should be locked. So now we slowly brought that creative people into the visual effects. That's where we see that from Indian, then the people have started using the main characters into the film, even the Bahubali. Previously, people use visual effects into the songs. Like they do some kind of a dance number, and they'll say that even if it's not coming, they'll cut off that and then they'll use that. So that kind of believability is there earlier days, but now it totally changed. So now this is in the right era where all the visual effects studios, like the team which we have in the industry, mostly they are artists. So that is one of the plus point now. So you can use all the visual effects artists to get your visions into the screen.
Hi sir, out here.
Yeah.
So you said after the script is locked, they have a short division, then you do the storyboard, and then there is a pre-visualization. But on the stage, if they change the shot due to some reason, like the UV action.
If you are changing the shot, that's what I clearly mentioned. If you change the shot, then that means whatever you worked on this took us for the pre-production took us 1 year. So then what you are doing on the 1 year? There is something wrong. That's where what we are trying to do is, we are trying to avoid the situations to change. Like, we need to provide why we will change the shot. Because on the location,
director might want a different angle, or DOP might say something.
That's what, yeah, that is what I'm trying to come. So why we will change is because we will see the location and we'll try to see the different angle. So what we are trying is, if you see in that particular where the inside the room, we try to provide the speak to the production designer. We try to speak to the DOP earlier and bring them into the system, including editor, and make sure that you whatever you want to do options, you try it here in the 3D. So that is what, if you are not doing that and only director himself sit and do the designing, and then when we go to the on location, obviously there will be changes. That means that our base system is wrong. So that is how slowly that we are trying to incorporate, bringing all the other departments into the visual effects, where on location there should not be any surprises.
Thank you, sir. Can you talk about your role as a academy member? What are your responsibilities in that? And also why so much delay for the 2.0? What are the difficulties you faced and overcame it?
Yeah, so about the 2.0 difficulties, as I mentioned, one of the major change what we have is that what we tried, we don't have a luxury to experiment because of the budget. So what we tried didn't work out. Is one thing is a bird, which initially we thought it's working out. It took us 1 year to just get that first bird, but when we see the output, then we realize that it's not working out. So that is given a lot of delay. So then we need to adjust the team from the different studios, and we need to bring a lot of other studios into that, because complexity changed when we changed the world. So that is one of the major reasons where the delay happened, because of the VFX part. So yeah. Hello, sir. Sir, here. Yeah, academy member. Yeah. That is they invited this year me as academy member. Yeah, responsibilities is like, it's just basically for me. I, as a personally, I can able to see a lot of different world material, different world. I like, what is it? I can meet. I'm seeing a lot of talent from all over the world. Recently, I finished the Students Awards judge. So in that, I saw that one of the beautiful films from the animation students. So now advantage is like, even a lot of films from even India, a lot of films are coming up, and so I'm able to see the overall different kind of filmmaking people. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that is now I have option to choose. That's what I told. Recently we finished animation student awards that we finished. Now the main awards are happening, so I'm seeing a lot of screenings. Thank you.
Sir, here. Sir, particularly one sequence जो आपने शूट किया था उसके बारे में बोल रहा हूँ मैं, जिससे बर्ड आता है और वो कार्स पूरे पूल करके ब्लास्ट हो जाता है.
Yeah.
उसके लिए आपने बताया कि 1 महीने का उसका रिहर्सल हुआ और उसके बाद टेस्ट शूट्स हुआ, उसके बाद फाइनल रिजल्ट हुआ. सो आपकी अभी जो टेक्नोलॉजी जो आपने रिजल्ट दिया हुआ है उसमें वो टोटली डिजिटल हो सकता था क्या, और whether it is more costlier than this, क्या है difference?
Yeah, it's we can do it in digital, but still when you do it in live, if it's a cheaper, mainly the cost one, but then certain things, even though digital, the life of the real feel. For me, if you are able to achieve in live, even if it's slightly expensive, I'll try to do it live, because that is what the real feel. The advantage is when we are shooting in the live, all the other departments are there on that particular spot. Like, but when I'm doing digital, so only I need to bring, because I'm doing in studio. So here only director will be there separately, or sometimes DOP will be there. So combining all the people concentration on particular time is totally different. That's why the main avatar, if you see, the difference between before avatar and after avatar, is that he made one breakthrough, bring all the technology into the actual people who are film people. That is why he can operate, he can see real time. Even though it's a digital characters and everything, he can able to see real time. So camera DOP can operate digital cameras virtually. So like that is what it makes the change. So try to use all the together on location. That is what the very important role.
So my second question is that when you are visualizing or director has visualized and you are executing it.
Yeah.
So इस प्रोसेस में आप अलग-अलग डिपार्टमेंट्स काम करते हो, लाइक कैमरा डिपार्टमेंट, आर्ट डिपार्टमेंट एंड ऑफ कोर्स एनिमेशन टीम, वीएफएक्स टीम. सो इनका कोऑर्डिनेशन कैसे होता है, लाइटिंग, वो सब लाइटिंग या इंटरैक्टिव स्लाइड्स एंड ऑल, उसके प्रोसेस के बारे में मैं
just like if you see the bird, we'll take a bird as a character. So first, whatever he has a bird is like we tried a lot of options. He said he wants to go with the sparrow and then different stages. So then we had a concept artist. In that concept artist, that is it, he's executing. He's also, but every person has a creative input on it, even though it's a director's vision. So production designer has a more role into the concept designing part, and he will work with the storyboard artist, concept artist, and then sometimes in this Mutra sir, he designed a lot of personally. He's a very good concept artist, so he designed that, a lot of other things. And then as a DOP, so we make sure that we have a HOD department, like a director, DOP, and production designer, myself. So we are constantly from the beginning of the film till end of the film, we all part of the group. So any discussion happen, so it goes through all our departments. So every person will give inputs on each stage. So it's like sometimes we feel that the board color is like a totally black. So production design likes that, but DOP said no. It's like initially we tried a lot of variations, but DOP wants that, especially even in this particular time. Actually, Neerav involved in certain stages. So, but mostly director is involved in that. So he wants that dark background. So even though black is there, but we can have a dark background. Skies, so where this glow will be more. So like that, every department, but every stage, we all have a say onto that. It's not like a one department, but the percentage is different in that. Yeah.
हेलो सर. सर मैं आपसे जानना चाहता था कि आप डिटेल की बहुत बात कर रहे थे, तो वो जो ग्राउंड वाला सीक्वेंस है जिसमें हम आईपीएल का मैच दिखा रहे थे, तो वहाँ पे उसे फुटबॉल ग्राउंड बनाने की क्या जरूरत थी? तो वहाँ पे भी हमने कॉम्प्रोमाइज किया है या उसके पीछे कुछ और रीजन था?
No, he wants that IPL, not IPL, that actual football in the break time. He wants that feel. So he don't want, from the beginning he imagined that football ground, not cricket.
But you were mentioning the IPL match, Chennai Super Kings and between Mumbai Indians. I have.
It's a design. Of course, IPL means internal league match, but a football match.
But there's a guy in a yellow T-shirt.
Yeah, it's a Chennai's football.
तो वो डिटेल हमने बाद में बदली क्यों? मतलब जैसे हमने जो चीज मेंशन करी कि ये मैच हो रहा है, तो बाद में इसको बदलने का रीजन क्या था ग्राउंड को?
No, that's what. See, if you want to do it in the environment, we need to have a one element. So director chose that it's a football match, that too in between break. It's actually break. That's why nobody is playing on that. When he enters, it's like everybody is celebrating because in between break. So in the flow, it's not my call actually. So directors, you should ask the director. It's not my question. But still, I can able to tell you that in the flow, certain things we don't need to tell detail because that is not important to the story. In that particular flow, when Akshis are entering into the stage, he sees that everybody is using the cell phone. 80,000 people, they are all using the cell phone. That is the highlight of that particular shot or particular agenda. So that's why we need that. If it's a regular game is happening, nobody uses cell phone. They almost watch that. So that's why he took it creatively, the break time, and then everybody takes the selfies and all that. So that is a background story.
So, hi, over here. Over here, back. Yeah. My name is Pranav. I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
One, I've seen a lot of Hollywood projects. When the credits start rolling, we see a lot of Indian studios who are involved in the visual effects and computer graphics process. So, what I wanted to ask is that like Indians do a very fabulous job in that department. It's very commendable. So in achieving that kind of a quality for our set of films, like is it just budget that is a factor which is holding us back or making it more difficult to go beyond or be at par?
Yeah.
And if yes, these are the same set of people who work on both sides, for both Hollywood films and Indian films. So do they face a difference when it comes to the payment or returns, which actually like puts them in a conflict as to what kind of a preference they should have when it comes to workflow?
That's a very good question. So, example which again the same project, the first question which you asked, it's like a lot of films you are seeing the Hollywood, like Indian artists in the Hollywood films. So there, I'll tell you one example. In this particular film, it's especially climax portion, it's happened in T-Lake, Mumbai. So inside the Mumbai, that when we are working, that we worked I think almost 5 months. 5 months, last 5 months we did that heavy work. That time I saw some of the other projects like I can't reveal all that, but some project where they are doing a crowd, like a similar stadium, they are adding the crowd, just crowd multiplication. That is there all the 4 months. What they are doing is that project, the entire time, they are adding the crowd. That there 4 months. But at the same time, our artists, our project, which our team, there is a separate team which we are working on it. Our background crowd is nothing in compared to anything else. In these 4 months, we have finished a lot of other, like what we saw, that entire climax we finished in the 6 months. But still, that time they are only doing the crowd for the, so they have a lot of different process, different timing, different iterations. Why they are doing that is, every time the perfection, the quality, the iterations, and that is totally different. They work in one shot. I remember that in Mummy, initially one of my friend, who is first Mummy, when a skeleton actually starts catching the knife in that. That 1 year he did the animation in that. How many iterations? But the same thing for us, we don't have a time, we won't have a budget. So that is one of the things. And the other one is why we are able to, why they are actually expensive than us, is the backup. Like here, we don't have any, something happen, everything goes up. But there, every stage they have a backup. If something happen, they will always, they spend 50% of their budgets all in the supporting system. They do a lot of iterations, they do a lot of tests, like what he mentioned. So the test on the location, when we came to that, because that's actually happened, a lot of Hollywood technicians worked on the car flipping things. So they made a sequence, they made a lot of iterations, like a test 1 month earlier. You make sure that on location should not fail. But for us, we don't have that kind of. The same thing if it's in our Indian action director, what they do is like, they don't have a budget, they won't provide that kind of detail and that kind of budget. So they will go on location, maybe one test they will do, and on location it's 80% chances to work, 20% chances to fail. But we take that risk. We always go into that risk. So that is why, if you see in the overall our film, not only, I'm not talking about the VFX, I'm talking about overall film making is like that. So we don't have that backup plan. We don't have the solidity. That's why they are able to finish everything in the 60 days. If you take the film, they finish on location. Actual principal photography is one of the crucial part for them. So everybody works for that. They spend 3 years, 2 years to plan to that 60 days. But here we don't have that kind of budget. We don't have that kind of a planning. We can do all the technology, everything, but we don't have that kind of a budget first thing. So our architecture also is not like that. So we try to take a lot of risks. What you saw is some of the success, but actually a lot of things are failed. But I say all the fails are not creative. They are all very creative because of the limitations of our culture, because of our system, because of our budget. One of the main things is the budget. So we are very talented, but the problem is when you do individual, like what our films, if you are not comparing with Hollywood, we are very good. But when we start comparing with Hollywood, we don't have a budget like that. So that is one of the main reasons.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So it was really
One small.
yeah.
And one more thing which I like to extend in this thing is, here, director is everything. Like he has to think of today's next shot, what is the next shot, and what is the budget of that shot, and what is the tomorrow's shot, schedule, everything he has to design. But in abroad, if you see, director is only one small part. He will only think about the he doesn't worry about what is the next shot, what is happening and everything. There, the production studios are controlling it. Like production studios will take care of the entire thing. Here, most of the time, 80% of the time, director thinks about the, you won't think about the creativity. You always think about the production, how to execute, how to build that. That's why here, director needs a lot of other skills than the creative. So 80%, I'm saying 80%. So if you want to become a director, you should learn management, you should learn psychology, how to get the people's time, and you should know all other things first. Creative is it's born, inbuilt, like it comes, that doesn't. So that's why we have a lot of creative people, but because of other things, they are not able to come out. I hope that system changes. Slowly it's changing now. All the other Netflix and these people, they are actually bringing into the very good management system. They are taking control. And the best example is the Bahubali. Sobu sir, the producer, he is hands-on producer. Here, most of the producers, they are investors. They are not producers. They just invest money. They don't know what is happening. Director has to take care of everything. But their producer is a controller for everything. So he will give full freedom to the director. Okay, thank you.
It was really interesting to know how VFX are implemented and embedded in the movie. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. And lovely audience, good questions. Thank you.